We have a saying around here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, no brains, no headache.
What you've just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Welcome to No Brains, No Headache podcast, episode 269 show of this mindlessly entertaining show that we call No Brains, No Headache podcast. Recording on Monday, October 20th, 2025. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm Jordan Weichel. I'm going to be your host today. As always, happy to be here. Damn glad to do so. Next to me, if you're watching on YouTube, is my co-host, confidant, longtime friend, fellow comedian. He goes by the name of Matt Cleary, but sometimes I call him Ongo. Ongo, how are we doing today?
I'm good. It's been a tough week. I have some heartbreaking news that I
It's Monday.
broke not sober October.
Took a day off, huh?
Yeah, it was tough. I was gonna have a fireball shooter yesterday, and then I couldn't find one in my brother's pantry, so I just said, you know what? My insides feel like soup. I'm objectively more dumb than I was 20 days ago. So I think I might just need to not drink for one day.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I'll tell you what, my body's hurting as well. I just can't seem to not, just take her easy. Just a lot of new scenery, a lot of things to go check out and do, and I got to go out and do it. So there I am. Plus, on Saturday I had a productive morning, and so I about like a beer. Let's go have a beer, and that was just a domino effect, you could say, domino effect. So there's that. But how's your body feeling? Are you withdrawing from alcohol?
No, I've like never felt better after one day of not drinking. Like I think that I had a couple diet ginger ales yesterday and I watched some football and slept actually really well last night. Like I might never go back to drinking, but I'm going to the bar after this to eat some sweet chili wings. So
Nice. Watch some Monday Night Football.
yeah, God gives his toughest battles to his bravest warriors. I'm going to drink immediately.
So you took yesterday off, the Sunday.
Yep.
That's all right. That's like the day of rest. I think if I think it'd be weird if you took like a Friday or Thursday or Saturday off, perhaps. But Sunday, that's fine, and I don't think anyone's blaming you. I mean, you were 18 for 19 up until that point, you know. So today you're looking to go 19 for 20. Those are good averages.
I mean, I really could like finagle this where I did drink Saturday after midnight, so it was technically on Sunday, but I don't want to be that guy. Um it's just a tough role to
No,
play.
it's not how it works. Definitely not how it works. But kudos to you on such a courageous effort. And I mean, it's still going technically. Maybe you were so drunk yesterday still that like it technically still counted. Like if you woke up drunk on Sunday and then maybe didn't drink on Sunday, but there's still like alcohol in your system. I think we could find some sort of loophole.
There definitely was some sort of something like that because I really didn't wake up until like noon, and then by like 2:30 in the afternoon, I was having like hungover feelings that I needed to eat, and I went and had Arby's, which was the worst idea I could have possibly have done. But then that really factory resetted me after having epic diarrhea for like 5 hours.
Did you get the steak bites?
I didn't. Um, I just got like a double roast beef with some curly fries, and then fed them to my nephew like he was a giraffe at a zoo.
And how'd that go?
He got barbecue sauce all over the place, but it wasn't my house, so I don't give a shit.
Nice. That's the way to go. Well, I actually pulled off an Irish goodbye for the first time in a while on Saturday evening. It felt good, you know.
Take me through it.
I mean, I pretty much just went to check out like a country bar, and I mean, I was there by myself, but quickly made friends. Was chatting it up with some people. It was one girl's birthday, so she did like a bazillion shots, and then I knew it was time to leave the bar when there was two grown women arm wrestling, like in the smoking area, just on a high top table, which I thought was sweet.
That's hot.
But then apparently the one who won, like said something like not even mean, just something about, I don't know, this chick's appearance or age, or I don't know. And all of a sudden she just came over to our table and just started crying. And I was like, yeah, because bars close at 2. So yeah, this was like a little after midnight, and I just kind of saw my opportunity, and then like just ordered a ride and perfectly went outside and got in there. And then I did get busted because one of them texted me like after that, and they're like, "Oh, Jordan, you just left the bar on us, huh?" And I was like, "Let me see if I have it." Not you sneaking out before the night was over, Cowboy Gordon. Not cool.
You're
And
getting
then
a
I played dumb.
reputation.
I was like, I thought they closed at 1. Yeah, but
I thought you were gonna
yeah,
say
so
that
I
you
Irish goodbye.
I thought you were gonna say you Irish goodbye, but you're like, I went to the bar by myself, and I was like, that's not Irish goodbye, and if you just left a bar by yourself.
I'm gonna leave here, not tell anyone.
Got him.
Gonna really show them. I don't know. I don't think I have it in me to just like belly up and sit there at the bar. Yeah, but I just don't think it's like the same. Like I don't think I would be able to sit. I would be able to sit there for a little bit, like by myself. And I don't know. I was watching like Tommy Brennan on Saturday Night Live. There's no audio, but I was just watching Saturday Night Live. Cool to see him up there. And then there was a live band, live music, so like that was cool. But right prior to this, I like had 2 sushi rolls and an appetizer, and my gullet was just full. So I just kind of had to like belly up for a while and just kind of digest for a minute. But no, I would have like it's just in my nature where it's like, okay, I'm either gonna have to strike up a conversation or like start talking to people or just introduce myself, or I'm gonna go home. Like 'cause I wouldn't just like sit there for several hours, and that's weird. I think that's creepy. So I wouldn't do that. Yeah.
Here's a question for you, and there's really only one right answer. You're in a bar in the bathroom. What do you prefer, paper towels or a hand dryer?
I gotta go with the paper towels here just for the effectiveness. Um, yeah, I would go paper towels. Given the option of both, I just think it's just a lot more efficient. Unfortunately, there's some waste involved, whereas the hand dryer, like I get it, it's just we're just blasting some electricity, but I got a paper towel. Even though I went to the grocery store earlier, I took my reusable grocery bag. I was so proud of myself for like remembering it because I always forget it. And the idea is like so I don't have this huge collection of plastic grocery bags, And I mean, I went through the line. I'm also that's my choice of like going through the line, like and talking to a human and having them scan my shit instead of self checkout. And then there was a nice young gentleman who like put all my stuff in my bag for me, but then he put the stuff in a plastic grocery bag in my reusable bag. And I'm like, this just seems ass backwards. The whole point of me bringing this cloth, this linen satchel with me was so I wouldn't have more fucking garbage bags. And now I have 3. I spent $40 on groceries. They could all fit in there just fine, but apparently if you have a meat, it's got to go into a certain one. And yeah, no, I'm gonna keep close eyes on that guy. But to answer your question, paper towels.
Yeah, that is the really only answer. I hate the air dryer things, even the ones that are like industrial that sound like a airplane taking off. They just don't get the job done. Your hands are still damp. It takes forever. I just want to grab a paper towel and I'm going to be doing it as I walk towards the door, yell Kobe, miss the garbage can, and it lays on the ground until someone cleans it up.
Well, and there's an open mic that I've been going to a couple times where they have I believe your only option is the jet engine hand dryer. You know which one I'm talking about? And it's like an open concept. So like if you go to the bathroom while open mic is going, somebody's on stage, you can clearly hear that from the main concourse, if you will. And so yeah, that's just disturbing the peace at that point. But here's the child in me. What I like to do is like when you're at those jet engine industrial ones, this got to be upside down. I'm just showing you for the sake of it. So this is upside down. You're washing your hands like that. If you cup your hands like this and kind of make a little vagina, and like you perfectly do it, you can get a nice fart noise going, which really throws people for a loop in the bathroom. So I'm immature.
Well,
what
that's one, that's hilarious, and two, my story's pretty much the same as that because I used to moonlight at this other golf course that wasn't the normal one I work at, and they had 2 bathrooms there, and both of them always had the door open to them because it was like a shared bathroom you go in, but like they weren't that big. So like when someone was just blowing up the bathroom, you could hear it throughout the entire clubhouse.
Brutal. And I would hate to be that guy. How do you look at your fellow golfer? Thinking about that, you got a big putt coming up, big 25-foot putt for birdie, and all you're thinking about is just the ricochet sound of an airplane hangar that was a result of a bowel movement. And that's hard to get over. But this is housekeeping portion of the show where we just talk about random shit before we actually get into the show. You ever just put your phone in your pocket and pick it up and you've been recording a voice message for like 20, 25 minutes?
Yeah, all the time actually. Or I've been doing it and I'll accidentally hit send and I'll send someone a 2-minute voice memo, which is even worse.
Oh yeah, that's tough, but yeah, no, I can only imagine what my phone has heard after picking it up and looking at it, and it's like, I don't know, I had somebody texting me about a comedy show and they're just in my recent messages. I don't really know this person. I'm trying to sell this person on the fact that I'm a professional, that we're professionals. We know what we're doing. and then I accidentally send her a voice message of me about having a butthole and going to In-N-Out Burger lately. That's hard. That's not ideal.
I mean, it's not ideal, but then you're
It's hard
not
to come back
hiding.
from that.
Yeah, you're not hiding who you are as a person.
I'm not hiding my condition of an itchy anus, which is nothing to it happens to the best of us. Apparently they have Toy Story 5 coming out. Matt, a little fun fact about me. I mean, we grew up on Toy Story. I've always loved that movie franchise. I suppose you could call it now, for pushing 5. And I saw a headline that says, "New look at Woody and Buzz in Toy Story 5." They're the fucking same. It's been the same as 1, 2, 3, and 4. What do you mean new look at Buzz and Woody?
I thought for sure you're gonna say like Buzz is black and Woody's a chick now, and I was like, oh god, here we go.
Like, new look at Simba and Lion King 4. Yeah. New look at Lightning McQueen in Cars 7. It's the same thing.
I mean, if it ain't
as
broke.
everyone prior. Or housekeeping. So if you're ready, let's get into the meat of the episode here.
Okay. Let's party.
I've been big into researching surf and turf this week. Not because I really want it. I think it's the most pointless meal on the planet. Surf and turf is just rich people food. It's just combining two very expensive foods that, albeit steak is good, but it's average. Hot take. And then pretty much every seafood I think sucks. So, my surf and turf is the liquid form of it. So I'm getting a beer and a bump is like the alcoholic surf and turf. And so I wanted to ask you, what is your surf and turf when you go to a bar?
Like, are you asking what type of beer and what type of hard alcohol?
Yeah, so if a place has a beer and a bump special. Ugh.
Honestly, you want to know, Jesus Christ, do you want to know what's been growing on me? And this may come as a shock. And I really honestly hang it more often, as long as it's, you got to be careful. But I haven't been minding tequila shots lately, and that sounds, I think tequila just gets a bad rep because it's like, the one, which really you could argue for any type of hard alcohol. I don't know, why did tequila, you had 1 vodka, 2 vodka, 3 vodka floor, you could argue, so whiskey, 2 pull whiskey, 3 pull whiskey floor.
I was gonna say it's like 1 pull whiskey, 2 pull whiskey, 3 pull whiskey, go home, beat my wife.
Yeah. Instead of the only thing you hit in the floor is whoever is just in the path of the domestic violence that is about to ensue. To each their own. But I would say, to answer your question, it's just too much. I would go with a Modelo and tequila, which I know sounds, sit in the middle row next to the fucking toilet. you know, just sitting next to a goddamn just overflowing with body mass into my chair, and that's what you get when you choose the cheapest possible flight ever. I would, if Sam back in North Dakota, and like, remember when we went bar hopping on the way up to the lake cabin? By that I mean we just went to one bar on the way to the lake.
Yeah, that was fun.
Made Matt drive because he has a manual. Bush Light Screwball whiskey, the peanut butter stuff.
It's pretty good. I mean, when I was down in Austin, I would do this thing where like every bar you went to, there's so many bars, it's so saturated that like every one of them is trying to outdo themselves. So it would be like one would have $5 Lone Star and a shot of tequila, and then like the next one would have like $4 Lone Star shot of tequila, just to try to get you in the door. But we'd literally just walk in, get one of them, boot to the next bar, and it was awesome though. Like I was so used to Lone Star and tequila that it's like I kind of like crave it sometimes.
Yeah. What kind of ad revenue are we talking about? True Detective season 1.
Ooh, man, that was tough. I mean, Lone Star is everywhere down there. 2%, like milk.
Yeah, it's just like Mexicans in Arizona. That was an attempt at humor,
Oh, okay.
but I'm not wrong. It's true. Yeah. Oh, I just want to say to our listeners, I apologize for the lag, for the production quality. I mean, it's my fault. I will put hand up. That's on me. We're gonna fix it. I just have to probably make some phone calls after this. We're gonna fix it. I'm sorry. I can't myself stand this. So, thank you to our listeners for sticking through it. But Matt, it's on Amazon Prime Video. You recommended let's call it a documentary called Cocaine Quarterback, and I watched it this last week. It was a classic situation where it's like, oh, I'm just going to watch something before bed, and then what is it, like 3 or 4 45-minute episodes later, I finished the whole thing. I couldn't stop watching it, but it is about a USC football player who, I mean, it's an interesting story for sure, but he ends up working for the cartel just like by accident. And it's fantastic. Owen Hansen, USC football player. He played with the 2005 team, I want to say, is with Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, Lindell White. The list, I'm sure, goes on. But yeah, Matt, you watched it. What do you think?
A couple takeaways. The first is it's a little misleading that like, because when I watched the preview, I thought he was like the third string quarterback behind like Matt Leinart and Matt Castle or whatever. And he quite literally didn't play a single snap of any football. He like basically was a glorified fan that could put on pads and get the shit kicked out of him. And the second one, I love how when they go into, oh yeah, whenever we needed drugs or anything, it would be like they call them like OH, and they're like, yeah, OH, I need this, and it was like Lendell White talking, but he's like, that was back then, so who gives a shit now? And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, they called him Dr. O.
Yeah.
Do you ever see the movie Charlie Bartlett? I think that's also on Prime right now. But have you ever seen Charlie Bartlett?
Yeah, that guy's dead now.
The actor's dead. Charlie's dead?
Yeah, the guy who played Charlie Bartlett.
God. Wait until Doug Martin hears about this.
Yeah. Or the starting drummer of Limp Bizkit. He'll be real upset about it.
What, did he just recently die?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Dead.
I'm sorry to hear that. R.I.P. No, but cocaine quarterback Owen Hansen, he's Southern California boy, ends up being, and it's funny, like the different parts of the country, like the sports that they have, because like I mean, you're just not going to see any sort of boys or men's volleyball like in North Dakota for sure. Recreational co-ed. I don't think there is even a male's rec volleyball team. I don't know if that makes sense, but like I don't think that there's just dudes playing volleyball.
No chance. I do the craziest part
No?
about the
Okay.
documentary was who is the guy that was like helping him like launder the money?
Yeah. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties here. Trying to rise above the adversity. I think it might get into me today. But yeah, somehow he ends up in Australia and he's just like moving a shitload of cocaine. And then at one point he has $5 million in cash that he somehow had to get. Even if you fly private across the world, you still have to do some sort of security check. Is that what I'm missing?
100%.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's why I figured, because I was like, okay, if he has all this money, I mean, how difficult would it be just to fly private? But even then, like, could he not have been more resourceful of like getting a hold of like a little bush plane pilot and like, I don't know, just fucking smuggle that shit on some little plane and just like get it from like you don't have to get it all the way back to the final destination, but you'd like get it off of Australia and get it somewhere closer to Mexico or the United States or wherever it had to go. I don't know. I just was thinking of that, but definitely recommend watching Cocaine Quarterback on Amazon Prime. Really good one. I guess that's all I have on that. We might as well just get through this episode.
All right.
It
So
just sucks. Every time I have like a lot of good shit to talk about, we can hardly fucking hear each other.
yeah, that's how it goes. There's a hypothetical civil war going on. That's been going around on like TikTok and a lot of Instagram stuff. And I put it in our rundown. Essentially, it is if the country was divided in like to like 10 sections, where you have the Great Plains, the Northeast California, the desert, Texas, Florida,
Okay.
Georgia, Appalachia. Pretty much have all of those. And I want to know your take on who do you think would win this? And second question, who's like the first 2 or 3 nations to just get absolutely bombed?
I didn't hear the last part of the question there, but I'm just gonna roll with it. I mean, off the top of my head, like here is my initial just knee jerk reactions. I was right away. I was like, okay, Republic of Texas, but then I was also like, hey, the Georgia Federation because they have Florida, and really at this point, I'm just looking at like lifestyle and like gun laws, as well as population, something to be considered. But I do feel as if, given the geographic location of the Republic of Texas and the Georgia Federation, and for those of you who can't see it, but Georgia Federation is just essentially the South, like the SEC. You got Florida, Georgia, obviously. Not great with that part of the country, but it looks like Mississippi, Kentucky, Tennessee, maybe. And then Republic of Texas is like all of Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Louisiana. It looks like they just kind of clumped them together. They're too close to each other, so like they're just gonna beat the shit out of each other, and just like they're gonna like wind each other down. Whereas like, something like the Great Plains or the Great Lakes could kind of do a little sneak attack and get them while they're down, because they're just gonna kill the shit out of each other. I mean, there's so many guns in that area, and just a lot of rednecks, a lot of badasses, I would say. So that makes me kind of look over here. I'm going to tell you for free, the Pacific states, which just looks like the state of Washington and Oregon, they may be the first to go. They may be the first ones to fall. In the Hunger Games, when you hear the cannons go off to signify the death, we're going to hear those across the United States, and it's going to mean that Washington and Oregon have been taken over, probably even just by Idaho. Idaho's just going to be like, okay, we're going to focus on this over here. And so that, then calling this a homer pick, but I think the Great Plains region can really do some damage just with how big of landmass they have. Now, the population is something it's not going to be great for the Great Plains region. I mean, it is the biggest by far, but I can guarantee, like, as far as population is concerned, they're not going to do well. Also, I'm going to go ahead and say New England also probably doesn't do well. It looks like it's just like Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, maybe Delaware. Then they don't have anywhere to go. I mean, they could go out to sea, I guess.
I think there's a lot of Boston people in there too, that like, there's going to be some guy from the North Shore of Boston that's like marching in on the Great Lakes territory, and like he's like, I don't need a gun, and then just gets his head blown off.
Yeah. Appalachia, it appears just to be South Carolina, North Carolina, West Virginia. They could be sneaky tough. They got some geographical topography. Is that one of the word I'm looking for? They're going to use the mountains and trees to their advantage.
Okay? I could see,
and a lot of inbreds are going to come out of the woodwork.
I could see Appalachia, like people forgetting about they exist, and then like everyone kills each other, and then like at the end of the war, they're like, oh shit, there was a war happening, and they just come out alive.
Yeah, there'd be like that really old lady Hunger Games who like just doesn't have a chance at all. Like homeboy's carrying her around. They could be like that, where they're just at that point, they're just trying to like last and just see it through. California's gonna just get attacked just out of spite and hatred, and there's not got any guns, so it could be tough. And you do kind of get into the gang cartel. Those guys could have a civil war within their own. California very well could have their very own civil war going on during a civil war.
Yeah, I mean, you have no one hates Californians more than Californians.
Think about the concept of a civil war.
Yeah, that's all I got on it. So it's all you.
Yeah, modern day civil war would be scary as shit. So, like, imagine if we started going at it, like we would just burn up our own country. I hit up about 20 garage sales on Saturday. And just like sports gambling, there's a reason why I put like a lock on me going to garage sales for such a long time. I hadn't really gone to check out one in probably over a year. For before I moved, I was kind of like unload mode, where it's like, okay, we don't need to be accumulating products. We don't need to be accumulating items or clothes. If anything, we need to kind of like downsize a little bit. But now that I'm here and established, it's time to like resize up. I got a Hooters Honolulu, Hawaii black t-shirt, classic. Found a pretty sweet Notre Dame basketball jersey. If it doesn't sell online, you'll be receiving that. And I bought a breakfast burrito. It was okay.
Are you gonna sell that
They had a
online?
cooler full of breakfast burritos. Yeah, the breakfast burrito. Probably gonna see if anybody on eBay wants it. If not, might have to just eat it myself. But yeah, there's a reason I shouldn't go to garage sales, because like there's no business of me buying a motorcycle helmet. And here we are. I just couldn't say no. I tried it on. It felt good. Do I own a motorcycle? No. Do I own a motorcycle helmet? Maybe. Okay. So you never know when the time is going to come where you're going to need such a thing.
On a scale of 1 to lacrosse helmet in North Dakota, how bad of a purchase was it?
Well, I'm not gonna sit here and have you guys on the edge of your seat. I did actually end up not purchasing it. Okay. But there was like, I imagine that's what a drug addict goes through, when they're offered heroin from one of their old junkie friends. It's like, boy, do I want to. And it is tough. You start shaking a little bit, you start sweating, you're nervous, you're excited. You got the money in your pocket. All you got to do is hand it over, and you are the proud new owner of a motorcycle helmet / heroin. And no, so I said no. So I can't even compare it to the lacrosse helmet. But so I went on Friday to a couple of them, and then Saturday is really where the action was happening. I got flyer handed to me because I showed up to what I thought was a garage sale. It was not. There's a guy standing outside. I asked him if he's having a sale. He said nope. But he's like on the phone. So I was like, oh yeah, like thanks. So I'll come back another day or something. And then he came up to my vehicle with a stack full of flyers. And in that flyer was a neighborhood wide garage sale, 47 houses that signed up for the garage sale. There was more than that. Because I was trying to follow the map, but it was just a wild goose chase. Like they'd be like, oh, there's a sign right here. And you take a left and then you're going down a road that you're kind of lost. But yeah, so I did that. And then, so day 2, Saturday, I was a little slow to start. I went to 4 garage sales, didn't make a single purchase. Also, I forgot how awkward it is when you're the only person at said garage sale and they are desperate to get rid of their I almost like just bought stuff because I felt bad, and then, like at every place I went to, there was like, okay, yeah, there's stuff here that I wouldn't mind getting or like would be okay, but I was really just trying to like show some restraint and like just really have some effective purchases. So yeah, that was awkward. And then also what I found out is, when you have a neighborhood wide garage sale and people know that like rummagers, we can call them, are coming through, they're like, okay, let's just set out some random shit. And so there was so many that I went to where they had like 2, maybe 3 folding tables. of just random shit scattered on it, and that's it. Like, very few of these did you actually go into the garage of the garage sale. It was just all in their driveway. They're just catching the sun, shooting the shit, trying to sell some fucking old expired laundry detergent. And it kind of worked against it. It made it it made the quality go down. The quantity was up, the quality was down. And that wasn't great for me. So,
Well, it's like when you go to that guy that you think he's having a garage sale, but he just has so much shit in his front yard, it looks like it. That is a staple of the Hispanic community to do, because that's what every lawn was in when I was down in Austin, living in this Hispanic neighborhood.
well, and it's funny you say that because when I was getting started, you just kind of keep I always like find them on Facebook. So I'll like take a screenshot or save that or something. So then it's like, okay, I'll type in some addresses into my phone. And then you got to remember I'm in the valley. So it's like, these places could be 20 to 30 minutes away. So like you got to consider that and kind of make a route just so it's not like I don't want to have an hour round trip to go check out one garage sale that could just suck ass. And then, I just wasted an hour in like gas. But as I was getting going, I was just kind of keeping my eyes peeled. And what I found was a lot of people have those inflatable Halloween decorations in their yard. They're like, I don't know, pumpkins or vampires or ghosts or whatever. And I'm like, oh, there's a garage sale. And then it's like, oh, no, because they were all deflated. They weren't like pumping air to them at the time. So it just looked like they just had a bunch of shit out in their yard. And yeah, I quickly had to adjust to not thinking every yard that had deflated Halloween decorations in it was a garage sale. So had to watch out for that. I got some pieces of art actually. Actually, let me go grab them real quick.
I don't know why I'm not talking right now, but I easily could have. I want to see what he's got here.
All right, we got show and tell on No Brains, No Headache. So what I found is really what you're looking for art to decorate your apartment or home or whatever is the frame. So I don't know how well you can see that. Oops, there. It's kind of just like a colorful skyline. There's some cacti and mountains. Nice, like cool, kind of golden wooden frame. And I got that for $4. So it's lightweight. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put these. But then this one is an interesting piece. Okay. I'm really proud of this one. I don't know how well you can see that with the glare.
Is that the picture, Alamo?
Right? So with this one, this piece, it's like I don't know, there's like a heavy filter on it, and you can see there's like, I don't know, a little like pool thing and a building, some palm trees in the sky, and it's a nice frame. And I was like, wow, this is sweet. They're kind of really just going for like color and like nice frame. And so I looked at it because one of my things, it's risky, but I've said this before on the podcast, but like a trick for doing garage sales is, and there's no proven statistics or facts or science behind this whatsoever. This is just one man's opinion on trying to bargain for junk. I never grab the item. I rarely grab the item and take it up to the table with me, especially like a bigger picture, or like a bigger item, or like clothes. I will, just because you kind of have to like see how many pieces you have or whatever. What I like to do is go up to the person and then I point at it like oh, that painting over there, that picture over there, I want that. My thought process behind that is like, they won't immediately like have that emotional attachment that they have to I mean, if they have one whatsoever, but it's like you hand them, you know, an item that you want, and then they're holding it, analyzing it, and all of a sudden, it's a flooding. This emotion is flooding back into them, and that's going to drive the price up. You know, and we're talking about 50 cents to about $2.75. But hey, in this economy, you got to do what you got to do. So yeah, I was looking at this piece, and I actually that was one of the best garage sales. This guy worked at a golf course down here in Arizona and had like every golf shirt under the sun. A lot of them were like still in packages, like brand new. I would have actually bought those and tried to resell them, but they did have, and I don't know how big of a deal it would have made, not a golfer, but they had the specific golf course patch on the sleeve. So I just thought maybe that, like, if it's a Nike or an Under Armour or whatever the golf, you know, Travis Matthews, whatever fucking brand you got, I think those would be more valuable in the packaging, brand new, than like, you know, why would you want to buy a golf shirt when you live in fucking North Carolina and it's got like an Arizona golf course on it? That was my thought process. But I made some great decisions. I got some nice golf polos, I guess. I have no intention of golfing with them. I guess if I ever go golfing now, I have apparel to go with it. Anyway, back to this painting. I'm like, it's sweet. It's going to look nice in my apartment. I'll find a good spot for it. And then if you read closely on the building, it actually says the Church of Latter-day Saints. It's a Mormon temple.
I thought it was the Alamo, so
Well, and I mean, I obviously still bought it, but I was like, the house of the Lord, holiness to the Lord, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Arizona Temple. But I mean, from your vantage point, you can't really see that. And I really like, I'm this close and I have to read that. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna buy it anyway. $4.
I still think it looks like the Alamo, but that's just me.
And yeah, it's like simple. It's I like the sky in there. I like the palm trees. I like kind of the color scheme. The frame is nice. So I'm like, if I don't think it's gonna be a big deal if I have. I'm not gonna I'm gonna say that's the White House. It was the White House before they moved to the Capitol to Washington D.C. back in 1742, of course.
Yeah, you might want to check some dates there, but
1842. My bad.
yeah, 1817 took a little trip, something down the Mississippi. Oh, crazy Airbnb story. So I got sucked into this thing online yesterday that took up a good majority of my time watching videos. Then I found out it was fake, but it's still an awesome story. So this guy's calling a dude that was staying at his Airbnb, and he has video of this guy who rented his Airbnb just stealing his washer and dryer. And he's on the phone with this guy like, hey, did you take my washer and dryer? And the guy's like, no, I don't think so. I never saw a washer and dryer. And it's like, okay. And it's clearly him on camera loading it up into a truck. And he finally gets to the end of it. And he's like, dude, I know it was you. We have this license plate. And he's like, it was my friend. It was his idea because, to be honest with you, we didn't have enough money to pay the hookers we got. So we gave them your washer and dryer to cover the difference.
Nice.
So my question is, if you're the Airbnb owner, are you really that mad?
About your appliances getting stolen to pay off a hooker tab?
Yes.
I mean, putting myself in the Airbnb, I can't fucking say this, Airbnb owner, just having a stroke over here, as if the fucking leg wasn't enough. We can't even speak English. This is just no brains, no headache at its peak. Knowing me, if I was in that situation and they were like, came clean and were like, okay, yeah, we did take it, you know, for the hookers. Once I'm told that, I'm a lot less upset. Let's just say that. Where it's like, you know what? That's actually impressive. Like, way to go. And way to find hookers that will accept appliances as payment. Their pimp is going to be pissed, but at least they're going to be able to clean the fucking poop stains out of their G-string. So that's huge.
That's what I was thinking too. I mean, if you just had a pawn shop slash hooker emporium that like, oh shit, I don't have a lot of money, but what I do have to trade is this 1969 Gibson Les Paul guitar. What kind of hooker can I get for that?
Yeah, it's like bail bonds, just hooker bonds.
I think we're onto something here. It's like, I don't have a lot of money, but my daughter's a bitch. So what can I get for a 2002 Grand Am? 200,000 miles.
I mean, I think we are onto something here because, like, if you know anything about trading stuff in, it's usually vehicles. But if you're, let's just say, if you're the house, let's call it the house, and like people are coming to you like, oh, I want that vehicle, and I'll trade you this vehicle. The value of said vehicle that they're trading in just gets pretty much like cut in half just because I don't just because they can, I guess, because it's like, we want cold hard cash for this, but now that you're trying to trade us something, we're not going to give you, like, if the vehicle is actually worth like Kelly Blue Book like $5,000 if you're trading it in. And once again, don't quote me or Matt on anything said in this podcast ever, but if you're going to a dealership and trading it in for then it's $5,000 according to Kelly Blue Book, like they're probably going to slash that down to like $2,000, 2,500 maybe. And it could be the same for our hooker bail bond business that we're going to start. It's like, hey, you want tits in your face? Okay, the Gibson Les Paul guitar is actually only worth, I don't even know what those are worth, but let's just say like $1,000. I'm sure it's worth a lot
Well,
more than that.
are you
But
saying
you
that
get what I'm saying is where we dictate what the value is.
are you saying that you would saw a hooker in half?
No, I'm saying that if their hooker tab is like $3,000, they can chip away at it with bartering. But whatever items they're bartering, we are not going to give them like entire full value for them. So, like, okay, you gave us the guitar, we're gonna value that at like $1,000. You still owe us $2,000. They give us, it's like when you're playing poker with not chips, it's just like random, like your watch and like, I don't know, tickets to a concert and shit. You just like push it all in forward. This guy is like, it's like $2,000 cash and a guitar that he is like handing to our receptionist. She's gonna be black. She has to be. A little attitude would be great, and stand her ground. So that's gonna be fantastic. I assume her name's gonna be Rhonda,
I was I
some
was thinking
variation of
something
that.
very, very similar to Laverne from Scrubs. If you understand that
Yeah,
reference,
yeah. That's
yeah,
exactly what I'm looking for.
a sassy
Yes,
middle-aged
I want
black
them to be
woman.
very, yeah, sass. Like, that's when we put out the job posting, it's like we're not even going to care about like technical skills. It's going to be like we want more personality than we do professionalism. So like if you're sassy, a bit sarcastic, like you laugh at jokes but only your own jokes. When you make fun of somebody, like you don't laugh at any other jokes, you laugh at your own jokes when you're putting somebody down. That's the kind of person I want. And she's going to be accepting the cash and then the guitar to pay off the hooker bill. And as I'm saying this out loud, I'm realizing that we're essentially just gonna be running a stable of whores.
Yeah, it's similar to that, but then something just popped in my head of how do you apply to be a stripper? Do you just send a picture of your cans and be like, "So do I got the job or what?"
I'm pretty sure that's like along the lines of how it works. It's that movie Zack and Miri make a porno, and then you have gosh, can't remember his name. He's in The Office. Craig Robinson? Is it Craig Robinson? Is that his
Yeah, the
name?
big black dude.
Big black
Yeah,
dude.
that sounds right.
Let me check that. Craig's list. Craig Robinson. Wait. Is it? Make a porno. And he's in charge of casting. So then they go into the bedroom, and then he's like, I'm just saying this is part of my job. Like, I have a wife and kids, but like, you got to get naked. And they're like, okay, and just strip down all their clothes. I think that's how it works, Matt. I don't know. I'm not really too sure, but we are nearing the end of our time. So let's get through our last few points here. Thank you for sticking with us for episode 269. And I will not rest until we improve the quality of the show. I do apologize. We've been trying a lot of different things and can't seem to figure it out, but we're going to. That's my promise to you, loyal listeners out there. I think you should be able to fly a plane drunk.
I don't know why we have pilots anymore. I don't know why we don't just build an aircraft that takes off and puts you in another location. We have the technology to do unmanned drones to blow up a school in Israel. I feel like we can fly me to fucking Tulsa, Oklahoma. Like, seems like kind of a no contest thing.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think would be safer, to just have a incompetent pilot flying a plane full of passengers, or an unmanned aircraft flying a plane full of passengers? I think that's right down the middle right there.
My idea for a perfect flight crew would be, hey, buy all your shit before you get on the plane. We're not going to have flight attendants. There's going to be one water bottle at your seat. You could buy snacks beforehand. There's a ton of places to do it. Get rid of flight attendants, get rid of pilots. The only employee you have on there is one dude with a handgun who gets to shoot a guy in the head if he's too annoying for the rest of the other passengers.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there. And like I mentioned earlier, I've always just take like the cheapest flights. I can't remember the last time I had an actual carry-on bag. I have a backpack. It's a Columbia brand backpack that I had since the first grade, Matt. When me and you were going to school, grade school back in the first grade, I got this backpack. I still have it to this day. And I load that sucker full of my clothes and toiletries, and maybe a pair of shoes, maybe. But then I get on the plane, I put in like some AirPods, I download a TV show or a movie or whatever. I usually sit in the middle. It's because I never pick my spots. I just get me on the plane. I don't really give a shit. Like, pretty decent shape, pretty decent health. So it's like I'm okay with sitting in the middle. If it saves me a few bucks, I'd rather like buy a beer with that money instead. But when they come around, I find myself a lot like taking out my AirPod and be like, what? I'm like, oh, do you need anything? And with a lot of like the flights that we get out of Bismarck or just the regional airports that I've gone to, the airlines, they're not offering you shit anyway. If there's free peanuts or pretzels or whatever, yes, I will take my pretzel. I'll do the little fucking tray thing, and we'll hang it out. I don't think I've ever bought a beverage on an airplane. Maybe like a non-alcoholic beverage once. But yeah, I usually just grab my shit ahead of time so I don't have to spend 4 times the retail value just because we're 40,000 feet in the air. And that never made sense to me. Why are we marking up a Coca-Cola so goddamn much? Oh, just because we're in the air? No, but no, it's an airline, Jordan. You got to pay for your flight. Yeah, no, that's what, when I fucking bought my flight, that's what the money's going for. So you're trying to make it up with the goddamn Coca-Cola that costs $18.99 for a can of Coke. That's probably going to blow up in my face because we are at a very high elevation right now. That never made any sense to me. So I couldn't agree with you more with that. Yeah, we don't need flight attendants. I think like the most optimal thing would be like have an unmanned aircraft, like a drone of some sort, commercial airline, and like, okay, we're going to reduce the pilot cost by 50% because we're just going to have one. His job is to be like a guy who's driving his Tesla across country and hungover as shit. He's going to put it in autopilot. He's going to like keep an eye on it kind of, but he's probably going to be playing solitaire on his phone most of the time. And like, he just needs to make sure, like, in case something goes wrong, he can take over. I do want an air marshal. I would like an air marshal just for my safety and those around me. Plus, it's always kind of fun trying to guess who it is and knowing that there's a firearm on the plane. I don't know why. It just gets me going.
Do you have is there a certain rule like there has to be an air marshal on every single flight? Because I've asked some people if they're air marshals and they say no, but I feel like it's one of those that's like, if you're a cop, you have to tell me. And it's just me drunk on a plane and be like, you got a gun on this bitch or what?
I think with modern day air travel, like I think they try to have one on every single flight, but it's not like I want to say I actually looked this up one time or asked somebody. And I don't know, are you Googling it right now? We need to get to the bottom of
Less
this.
than
These are the hard hitting questions we ask here on No Brain.
dude, this is so bad. We thought every flight had one on it. Less than 1% of flights actually have an air marshal on it.
Fair, but I mean, considering how many goddamn flights there are in a day, like if you ever look at that like, world map of like flight patterns, it's just you can't even see the land or the water. It's just lines going through it.
Imagine
Well, I
on
mean,
9/11, they're looking at those air maps and they're like, "Oh, what's these two explosions up by New York?" And be like, "Yeah, you're not gonna want to fly the rest of the day."
yeah, well, you're not going anywhere. How many people were renting cars like shortly after 9/11? Like, hey, you had a flight home from your business conference down in Florida and you live in Montana? Well, you better start walking.
Yeah, at that point I would have just like moved to wherever I was gonna be at. I'm also a big fan of just saying fuck it and like I'm like at the whim, like I'm not gonna run in an airport to get somewhere. If I get stuck or miss a flight and I have to stay over there, I'm fine with staying in a hotel and just eating snacks and watching TV and getting there the next day. Like I'm not gonna get all butthurt about it and you know.
That's fair. All right, we got a quick little sports segment, and then we're gonna get out of here real quick, Matt. We're gonna make this brief, and then do our ending duties of the episode. So thanks again for everybody hanging out with us today. This is timely, but the Dodgers are on to the World Series. So let me ask you this: as a Cubs fan, would you rather give it your all, take the divisional series to Game 5, and ultimately lose like the Cubs did, or win that Game 5 and then get swept by the Dodgers? Which one would you rather do?
I'm gonna take bias out of this, and I would rather lose in game 5 and then be done. And I would not want to be swept, especially by a team that you've beat the last 6 games in a row, and everyone thought that your team was really good, but meanwhile you're absolutely dog shit. Um, yeah, I fucking hate the Dodgers, or I hate the Brewers, and I'm very glad the Dodgers won. But now I just hope the Dodgers lose, but I can't see it happening. They're too good.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. Like, yeah, it would have been cool if if the Vikings, if the Cubs would have won that Game 5. Don't get me wrong, it would have been awesome. But now, like, seeing what happened to the Brewers and just, hypothetically saying, what if that happened to the Cubs? You imagine that would have been 4 bad days of your last week. Like, you would just be bummed out. You'd be probably just like drunk, and you're just like pissed off. I'm glad that the Cubs just, they took it to game 5. Unfortunately, they came up short. And I mean, by the looks of it, it's like, oh, I didn't want to face the Dodgers because that would have been just a shit pounding. And yeah, I would have spent 4 more days just soaking, watching the game, spending money, catching a pretty moderately high buzz, and then being disappointed. But yeah, so I'm glad we're on the same page there. And then all I have is I don't know how to say this, but the Vikings suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was closer than I think because it was 27-22, which is like, oh, that was a close game. I don't think it was remotely
28-22,
close.
yep.
Yeah, I don't think it was remotely that close. It looks pretty tough. I mean,
Well,
they get JJ back.
Well, and yeah, that's just it. It's like it's so shitty that our options at this point are Carson Wentz, who has lost his touch. I mean, yes, it's a team game. Everybody probably could have done something better. But that's the price you pay to play the quarterback position. And then we also have JJ McCarthy, where it's like, I'm not gonna lie, I've kind of lost my excitement around the guy. Maybe he can fire back up like with a really good performance. But they are on a short week. Now they go on the road to play the Chargers. You saw last week the Bengals end up beating the Steelers on Thursday Night Football. Like that home field advantage on a Thursday game, I would love to see what the stats are, but like it's more often than not that home team is probably going to win. So yeah, not looking good for the Vikes. Justin Jefferson dropped a very catchable pass, and he normally makes those. He doesn't. Carson Wentz throws a pick 6. Carson threw more touchdowns to the Eagles yesterday than he did to the Vikings. So he must have had a fucking flashback and thought he was living in 2019 or whatever year it was, 20 whatever, 17, 18, somewhere around there. I don't know. Because he threw it to the wrong team. They ran it back for a touchdown. If you take a look at the score, Vikings perhaps win that game. Also, TJ Hawkinson had a catch in the back of the end zone that apparently just wasn't a catch. Like it was a very did Dez catch it kind of play where it was just like, okay, I don't really see. Yeah, so it's rough right now. It's going to be a rough one. That's the status of the Vikes. Hey, the Panthers, are they 500 right now?
We are 4-3, and it's at the point of the season where Bryce Young's starting to play bad. So they're like, Bryce, you're hurt. Andy Dalton's going to play for like 5 weeks. And so Bryce Young is out for the next couple games. Well, he learns the offense, and we get some help back on the offensive line. We played the Jets, which is basically a mid-level SEC team, and beat them 13-6. Wasn't
Wow.
a good game by any means. So now they're like, all right, Bryce, that injury is going to put you down for a couple weeks. And he's like, what are you guys talking about? I feel great. And they just hit him with a bow door, and Andy Dalton's going to come in and dollars to donuts. He throws for 400 yards this week. So
hell yeah. Well, the Panthers are looking good. They're above 500. Both of our teams are, right in the middle of the pack of shittiness. So that's good. But we got to wrap it up. We got to get going. That's our episode. That was 269. Matt, what can everybody do to follow us? I've been monitoring the socials really close. Things seem to be growing. How can they add to that?
Yeah, just comment, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you can watch the entire show. And then you can leave us a rating or review on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, kudos to you, Matt. Somebody called us TikTok famous the other day. And I was like, I don't know what your definition of famous is, but I'm not going to say no to the compliment. So thank you very much. Make sure you follow us on all those platforms. If you watched on YouTube today, thank you for checking us out there. That's all we have for you. We'll be back next week with episode 270. Have a great day.
You're watching Channel 4 News with 5-time Emmy Award-winning anchor Ron Burgundy and Tits McGee.
Good evening, San Diego. I'm Veronica Corningstone. Tits McGee is on vacation.
And I'm Ron Burgundy.